Internet, I'm Tori and this is my channel Paperbound. Today I'm back with another video for all of you. I thought since it's the end of July and I now have a booktube channel, I figured I would do a July wrap-up video. I had filmed one previously, but then I ended up finishing another book, and after rewatching it I was like, this is crap, so I need to redo it again. Anyway, so without wasting any more time, let's get to the books. At the end of June, I had decided that I would not check any more books out at the library and I would focus on reading some of the ones that I have here in my shelves behind me that I haven't read. And let's just say that didn't last very long because I hit that reading slump and had to stop what I was reading. I was just too distracted by all of the awesome books that I was seeing on BookTube, or that was already on my list, or I was discovering on Goodreads or Hoopla Digital. So yeah. That's kind of what my July looked like. Now that you know what it is, what it was like, I will share with you the books that I read. So the first book that I started reading is the one that I kind of hit my reading slump right in the middle of. It was The Next Killing by Rebecca Drake. This is a murder, mystery, crime novel. I got it at a used bookstore, thought it looked interesting, wanted to expand my crime mystery collection. So I picked it up. It is about a school where at the very beginning a girl is found dead and they're kind of trying to figure out who it was. So as I said, I am only a little over halfway through it. I kind of lost interest in it. It's very slow moving. I think it's predictable, but I haven't finished it yet, so it may not have been predictable, even though I'm pretty sure I know who did it. So, you know, when you think you know, that kind of takes away some of the excitement. So I do want to finish it because I am interested to see how it ends and if I'm right with who did it, but that's probably the only reason that I'll continue reading it. The next few books, I don't actually have the physical copies with me because I checked them out at the library and I have already taken them back. The first one that I read was 7 Ways We Lie by Riley Redgate. This is a book, it's a young adult fiction book that follows 7 or 8 different teenagers in high school. There's a rumor that one of the students at their school is sleeping with one of the teachers, so it's them kind of exploring it and at the same time navigating their own personal struggles with life and relationships and, you know, the things that teenagers always do. I really enjoyed this book. I thought that the author did a really good job of making the characters pretty believable and realistic, in the sense that there were times where I absolutely hated some of the characters, and one of the characters I actually don't like at all. I don't think there's anything redeeming about her character, but I disliked them in ways that I think I was supposed to dislike them, with how they were written as people. I didn't dislike them because they were just poorly written characters, and that doesn't usually happen for me. If I don't like a character, it's usually because I feel like it's poorly written. In this case, I thought the characters were excellently well executed, well written, and that's why I didn't like them, because they were written as characters that I just didn't like. I also had this weird moment where I realized that I struggle with teenage drama. I like reading it, I like reading young adult fiction, especially young adult contemporary fiction, but I did realize in this that some of their petty drama and some of the things that they do and them not realizing how stupid they're being and how their actions are affecting people really frustrated me, and it made me feel old, and I'm not even that old. So yeah, that was a weird moment for me, but I still really enjoyed the book and I thought it was really good, and the things that annoyed me were not at all the writing. It was totally because the characters were just so well written. Really enjoyed it and I would highly recommend it. The next book that I read is called Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. I have no idea if I said her name right, so if I butchered it, I'm really sorry. This is a book about a girl who has schizophrenia and she's going into her senior year of high school, and she meets this boy who she thinks is a boy that she met when she was 7 years old, right before she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And she had always thought that this boy was a hallucination because she had been hallucinating at the time of seeing him. So she meets this boy when she's a senior in high school, and she starts to kind of freak out. And really, the whole book is her trying to figure out what's real and what's not, and dealing with the fact that reality isn't trustworthy and that the rest of us kind of just take reality for granted, but she can't. She's always questioning and always wondering what's real and what's not real. So I thought it was a really good book. Kind of at the beginning I was kind of like, I don't know, this is pretty slow, I'm not sure if I like this, but it definitely picked up and I definitely really liked it. But yeah, so that was definitely a 2 thumbs up book. I would recommend that one as well if you like mental health fiction, contemporary young adult fiction. Another book that I read was The Fall by James Preller. Now this book is a really short book. It's written in a journal style, so it's journal entries from a boy in high school, and it's following him kind of exploring himself and his relationships with people, and specifically this one girl who at the very beginning of the book it's established that she had committed suicide before the school year started. So it's kind of him dealing with how he treated her and how others treated her, and how he's just kind of trying to figure out, you know, what he could have done better, realizing that he's really not always a great person and kind of that people suck a lot of the times. And I thought it was a okay book. It was definitely not my favorite. I mean, it was short, and I think it really brought up a lot of good kind of jumping off discussion points that you could have. It would make a really good, I think, book talk book, just because it brings up the whole issue of how your actions affect people. And then of course it brings up the whole thing for after anything happens, whether it's suicide or an accident or anything, any major event like that, especially traumatic event. Visions or hindsight is always 20/20. You know, once you start looking back on it, you realize like, oh, there was a sign that that might happen, or oh, I should have done this because she was doing this, or there was this sign and I missed it. But of course, when you're in the moment, you don't see it because we're all self-centered and we're looking at ourselves and we're in the moment, and it's hard. So it definitely brought up a lot of those questions of just trying to be aware of the things around you and how maybe people need you. And I really liked how it brought home the point of sometimes when people push you away, what you really need to do is hold them closer. So that was really good. I thought it really overall had a very good message, but the book itself was pretty uninteresting to me. I didn't really connect with the characters very much. I didn't really care about them. I don't want to say that it was poorly written. It was just not, maybe it just wasn't my cup of tea. And I mean, I like books that are like that about those topics, but it didn't really suck me. And I don't know if it was just the style since it was journal entries or what, but it wasn't my favorite book. I thought the content that it was covering was really important, and it's really important to discuss and be aware of and be talking about with people, but I did think that it could have been better. I don't know. I could have been more interested in it. And the last book that I just finished last night for the month of July, just in the nick of time, was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I read this because it was highly recommended on BookTube. People kept talking about it everywhere, and of course they're turning it into a movie that comes out next year, and I of course will want to see the movie, I'm sure, because it has a bunch of stars in it that I really love. So I was interested in reading it. If you don't know what it's about a high school junior named Simon who is gay, but he is not out yet, but he's been emailing this other boy from his school back and forth who's also gay, and they've kind of been starting this weird friendship, almost romantic relationship through emails, but it's all anonymous. They know that they both are in the same grade and go to the same school, but they don't have any idea who each other is. So it's kind of them talking and wanting to figure out who the other is and building this relationship, all while he is dealing with being gay and not out yet, and then something happens where suddenly he is out and he has to deal with all of that. So it's kind of his drama with all of that relationship, and really with his friends and just the normal things that happen in high school drama with relationships. And I really did enjoy all the characters. They were all really fun, just fun, quirky characters, and it was a overall pretty good book. If you haven't read it, I would recommend it. And of course, I'm super excited for the movie because so many of my favorite actors are going to be in it, and I'm super excited. So you should check it out. So that's my July wrap up. Share in the comments if you've read any of the books that I read and what you thought of them, and also let me know what you read this month, if there's anything that you think I should read next month or in the coming months. I am always looking for book recommendations, so share those in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!